something else I've been wondering about for quite some time is selecting your band name to be Sports Team. Tell me about that. Maybe you want to jump in here, Rob.
I hate our band name.
Yeah, I think you never really think you're going to get to this point where you get asked. You know, we sort of...
you guys met in college, right?
Yeah, we met in college, and I think that's probably the one thing like we could just about agree on. Sports Team. There were some other suggestions that got voted down pretty quickly.
Like what?
Oh, I don't know.
Rob always says I suggest these like terrible names, but there's no record. I think he said I wanted to call it like Lady Mandolin or something like that, but like, I don't think that's my vibe.
And then there was something like Teen...
I wanted to be Comfort.
Teen Fury.
I did want to be Comfort. That's what
anything that sounds edgy, Alex didn't want. Anything that sounds sort of prog rock, Alex wanted.
Lady Mandolin. I like that one.
That is not...
Okay, but bring it back. How did you arrive on Sports Team?
I think we like bands like Pavement, you know, American stuff like Slacker, sort of... we thought it was very sort of academic and aloof at the time.
Okay.
You know, so we thought we were being quite cool with that.
Okay, we were just talking about Canadian music. I think I was sort of quizzing you, like, what do you know about us? Your favorite so far that you've heard?
Well, I was saying the Tragically Hip before, but I think we were talking about it's funny, isn't it? Because I think bands here don't necessarily get credit for being Canadian. There's a lot of people we're hearing like Sum 41 and Rush. Obviously Canadian, but I don't think I knew that till 5 minutes ago. Well, I think the thing that I thought was amazing about the Tragically Hip was that I remember, because when the guy died, I remember seeing it just feel like a kind of big national event. Yeah, and I don't think you necessarily get that in other countries. Something that feels like it does actually bring the whole nation together because it's quite international. But the idea that you can have a national band, I think's amazing.
Yeah. Who do you think would be the national band over there?
To be honest, I reckon the closest the UK's come is pretty like Oasis.
Always Oasis,
you know, and if they'd reformed, if they do reform, they always hinted it. But them at Nebworth, I think there was a crazy thing where it was like 15% of the population applied for tickets to it. Yeah.
That's insane. Okay, I gotta ask, have you run into a Gallagher brother at any point in your career?
I don't think we have actually, have we?
No, I don't think we have. I think we saw Liam in the pub once, who was surrounded by security.
Was he swearing?
He just seems to be having a lovely dinner with his mates, really.
Okay. Sort of it's probably more Noel that would be the swearer, I guess.
I think so.
Well, I'm not sure they're like real rock and rollers anymore, are they? I think they live in Hampstead, like a very smart area of London, go for jogs in the morning and run natural wines and small plates, you know?
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. So you guys, your latest is a release called Gulp.
Yeah.
Like a gulp, like when you take a gulp, like is that what was behind the name of it? Like Gulp, we're getting famous?
I think there was a bit of that. Yeah, I think it was like kind of Gulp or its album too, you know, because the first one in the UK at least went really well, and then I think there probably was quite a lot of pressure to put a second thing out. But also I think it's a bit of like there's a bit of sort of drink the Kool-Aid in there. There's because we got a song called Kool-Aid, which is about sort of like take your medicine, you know. So I think it's got sort of ambiguous meaning. Okay, and so will you be playing most of the material from that kind of stuff in your set tonight? Yeah, definitely. I think we're trying to play as much newer stuff, which everyone will be thrilled to as possible. Yeah. No, we're doing a bit of everything. I think a lot from Deep Down Happy and a lot from Gulp as well, because it's the first time I guess we've really got to play it over here. Okay, I was also asking you guys off the air about your influences and like what brought you together sonically. Rob, was it like one day like, hey man, I like this band and so do you. We should make our own band. How did it happen, and like who are some of the musical influences? I think we probably sadly were more like, hey, I like drinking beer and you like drinking beer. Why don't we start a band? But I think we always like kind of 90s American music like Pavement, and then we love a band called The Replacements. Okay. And was that like, did it start with covers? No, we couldn't actually play covers. We were sort of, I don't think we were good enough to play covers. But what is it about those bands that like the sound that you were like, I want to emulate that? I think it's just the energy of like you hear the music and it sort of sounds like it is just 4 or 5 friends in a room sort of plugging in and playing the songs. Like it doesn't feel super produced. And you can hear mistakes, and you can hear like a voice cracking or, you know, someone dropping something in the studio. So what you mean by that is like going back to what you said about it being mostly about the live show for you guys, which brings us back to the Horseshoe tonight. Yeah, I think so, definitely. And it's sort of having that chaos and that element of unpredictability. I love it. Which Alex is very good at. Well, I think a big part, like about the only reason bands aren't completely dead yet is because you've still got a dynamic between people. I think you get with them. There's 6 of us in the band. You get up on stage, and it is like you have Henry, our guitarist, wants to be at the front a bit more, so it overhams the solo, you know, like, and stuff like that comes out, yeah.
Let's play the track that we've been spinning pretty hot around here called The Drop. Tell us about this song before we play it.
I guess it sort of came out of a lockdown period where sort of like me and Roy, I guess, were listening to a lot of Brian Ferry, if you know him, which is sort of very joyous, like big trumpet lines. It sounds huge. It sounds like it could be kind of played by a big band. And I think it's that point where because in the UK, obviously we're just starting out here, but the UK we're playing sort of bigger and bigger stages and trying to find a sound that sounded fuller and grander for festivals and things. So I think it's a bit of that, but then the sort of thematically, it's sort of, I think the sense a lot of young people have at the moment where you sort of sold a dream, work all your life to get to a particular place, and it doesn't really exist at the end of it. That's what it's about.
Katie died, just waiting for the right time to retire. Retire, retire, retire. I'll clean my sheets so there's something in my teeth that I can find. Can find, can find, can find. Oh, honeybee, whoops, it's silly me, I lost my mind. My mind, my mind, my mind. Oh, honey bear, you caught me unaware, I'll let it slide. It slide, it slide, it slide. Oh, let it drop. Oh, let it drop. So civilized, hey, I could be a monkey in a tie. A tie, a tie, a tie. So wash your hands of all these childish plans and let them die. And die, and die, and die. Oh, busy bee, but won't you dance with me? Is it the tie? The tie, the tie, the tie. So kiss the ring and watch the jackal singing in a line. A line, a line, a line. It's a long day, a hot night, a dark box, so we might go out. Oh, let it drop. Shine on and on. The endless city lights always seem to shine on and on. The endless city lights always seem to shine on and on and on and long day, a hot night, a dark box, so we might go out. Da 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 da. Oh, let it drop. Da 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 da. Oh, let it drop. Da 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 da. Oh, let it drop. Da 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 da. Oh, let it drop. Da 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 da. Oh, let it drop.
Cool.